Hello, brothers and sisters. I want to share a dream that I had, and it was quite a dream. I woke up and I immediately started writing it down, and because I thought I was gonna forget it, and then like it's been hours later, and I have not forgotten it, any details of it. And so before I get into it, I just really wanted to share this dream more than anything, and just some things about me. I am almost never able to remember my dreams. For me to remember a dream is like it happens less than 1% of the time. And to remember it in detail is like honestly in this case I don't remember this ever happening to me before in my life. And so that's one thing that makes this dream really stand out. And also just the elements of it is very much what I would think of seeing in the tribulation. Alright, so there were other things that happened before like you get to like the main part of it, but like just the things that happened early was I was in like some theater or something, and there are a lot of free items, and so a lot of people were there just picking up free items. You can just take whatever you wanted, and there was so much that people didn't really have to like get violent in order to get what they wanted. There was so much to choose from. And at some point, like there were also demons in that place. Like there were people with demons in them trying to attack me in that place. And I remember this little boy. And so this little boy with a demon in him, like I think long story short, he had something to do with me getting robbed, and I ended up losing my ID and my credit card. And so that was just like one thing that happened that I think is significant. And then to get to the real portion of the dream, somehow I think that I don't know where I was when I first encountered this village, but like the main part of the dream is focused on this village. And so wherever I was, the first time that I saw it, it was like kind of like in the distance, hovering in the air, and it had like a black cloud over it to some extent. And I come to find out that this village is the village of Somalia, which is extremely odd. That's very odd. I'll get to that more later. But in my dream, Somalia was a village, and it had this black thing, like this black cloud covering it. And somehow I ended up going to the village. I don't know how I got there, but I ended up going to this village, and I found like this dream is crazy. It was pretty horrific what I was seeing in this village. There were people, and they were really, really oppressed. They're extremely oppressed, and it just gave me a serious tribulation feeling. And so the strange thing about this village is I come to find out what that black cloud was once I went into the village. And the black cloud actually has like more than one form, but when I first got there, I found that there was this massive river or this massive body of water going almost completely through the village for whatever reason. There's this big body of water, but this body of water, people were asking questions about it because it had like some strange things about it. Like for example, there was like goo at the bottom of the lake or river, whatever it is. There was goo along the bottom, but it was like there was like some kind of a neatness to the goo. Like it had like a line, almost like a bed, like a river bed. And there was goo at the bottom, and people were like looking at the water like what is going on with this water? Why is it like that? What's that gooey stuff? And so I think at first I was in the village just looking around observing, and I was noticing this water, like all this water there, and the water looks dirty and it was murky. And I come to find out that this water is actually really really dangerous water because I found out that people were dying because of this water. Like, the water was poisonous. It was actually poisonous, and people would drink out of it and then they would die. And then, like, somewhere a little bit later in the dream, I come to find out that this body of water, is actually a demon. Like, it's a demon. The whole body of water is a demon, and it is a snake demon that takes multiple forms. Like, one form is like a river, a really dirty, poisonous, murky river, and then the other form is occasionally this river would take another form in which, like, it would form some kind of a humanoid like body, but like it was still like snakish. It like went from being a river to being a snake, and it would go around like just targeting random people of the village, picking them up, eating them, like striking them, poisoning them, eating them and stuff. So this body of water, which was actually a serpent, a black serpent entity, when it changed its form, was actually a demon there, just like causing all these problems to these people. And they were just really, really oppressed, and like nobody was helping them because I don't think anybody could help them. And like I was saying, I think I was going in and out of the village. When I would leave the village of Somalia, I would tell people, hey, there's this village and there's this crazy snake thing there, and it's killing all these people. These people are dying, and like people were just looking at me like they didn't believe me. They didn't believe me that I don't even know if they could see the village, but I was telling people, these people are dying, their water's poison, like this thing is like eating people, it's crazy, and they just weren't believing me. So I had to take it upon myself to go to the village again. And I ended up praying over the village. I was praying over the village and rebuking this demon spirit in Jesus' name. And when I would pray, the thing would leave. It would like retreat, but then like if I didn't pray again, it would work its way back into the village. And I knew it wasn't because my prayers weren't working, because I had the sense that that this river / black serpent demon spirit had, like in the spirit, it had a legal right to be there. And I'll also make note that in this village of Somalia, there were a ton of witches. There were just a whole bunch of witches everywhere. People doing all kinds of evil stuff, but it was almost like they were in a state of ignorance, where like they were doing evil, but it's like they didn't have a sense that what they were doing was wrong necessarily. They were just engaging in a lot of evil. So whatever they were doing attracted this thing there. And so yeah, there were a lot of witches. I took it upon myself to go in through the whole village evangelizing as I was praying this thing away, because it's like they were doing a whole bunch of evil stuff, but it's like they didn't realize. I should also say that the people of this village of Somalia didn't realize that it was their evil that was attracting this thing. All they knew is that, you know, they were just trying to survive, and, you know, the witches didn't think they were doing anything bad, really, but they just kept getting attacked by this thing. And they also didn't realize, yeah, I don't remember if I said this, they also didn't realize that this snake, this black serpent entity / lake was one and the same. They just noticed that occasionally there would just be some entity going around eating people, killing and eating people, but then it would turn back into a lake that was really dirty, whose water was really poisonous, and that they would also die from. So either way, any way that they encountered this lake, they would die. And they were really oppressed. So I went in there evangelizing the village and praying this, rebuking this spirit away. And, you know, I just had a heart to help everybody in this whole entire village of Somalia. And it was really strange. Like I was saying, it's like they didn't realize what they were doing was evil. Like these witches, they were probably just being witches because they were taught how to do spells and stuff, but they didn't realize that they were enabling demonic forces when they did that. They didn't realize the impact of their actions on their own environment. But yet they kept drinking the water and they kept dying. They kept getting poisoned. They kept getting attacked and eaten. Yeah, like they kept getting snatched up and eaten. So I ended up evangelizing some, and like as I was rebuking this spirit, as I was starting to like evangelize and stuff, I noticed that this spirit was like going away from the village and was like not coming back. So I knew that the spirit had a right to be there, but it's like I was trying to teach the people the ways of righteousness. I was teaching them about Jesus. Like, I went into some house and there was a lady there and she was really suffering. So I was like, would you like for me to pray with you? And she was like kind of scared. She was like, no, no. I forgot to mention that these people started to regard this lake slash snake entity as a god, because I guess they felt like if they worshipped it, if they treated it like a god, then they would appease it, and that this entity would stop eating them and stop poisoning them, and then they'd have clean water. So this lady was afraid for me to pray with her. I was trying to pray for her and help her get saved. I was trying to pray over her heart and just like ask the Lord to give peace into her and to lead her to the light. And so when she was saying no, it's like I kind of realized why she didn't want to pray with me, because I guess she felt like she would be betraying this entity. So I said, let me tell you something. I started telling her about the one true living God, about Jesus Christ the Son, about the Father, about how God wants them to come to salvation and God can get rid of all these things. They can live in eternity with Him. I was just evangelizing. And then I was telling her that this entity, I finally identified this entity as one and the same, as a river and a serpent spirit, a poisonous serpent spirit. And I was telling her, this is of the devil. This is from Satan. Satan doesn't care about you. He doesn't love you. He just wants you to go to hell. And I was telling her all this stuff about this entity. And it was kind of sad because, like, she was listening to me, but I was going to ask her again. Like, I was going to ask her again. Now, I'm going to ask you, do you want me to pray with you now that you understand what's going on? And I didn't get to ask her that because I woke up. And it was just really crazy, that dream, because I was able to remember everything. It's like I was there, and as I was praying for these people, the place was getting cleaner. I think that the water might have been just a representation of just like the spiritual impact. And if you do evil, demons will come. If you do good, then you'll attract, the blessings of the Lord. Okay, now let me go to what I wrote down just in case there's something else. Sorry about that, guys. Oh, I forgot to say also that this lake was really, really poisonous. Like, if you drank from this lake, you would die. The lake or river, whatever it is. If you drank from it, you would die. If you approached it, I forgot to say that this lake had a smell to it that was putrid. The smell of this lake was completely putrid and rotten, and I think people were dying from that too. Like, they were dying from like inhaling the river. Like, it was like a toxic gas. And so, now I don't know why if you smell it, you die, but yet people were approaching it to drink out of it. Like, either way they're gonna die. This thing was causing a lot of oppression to these people, and I was just watching them suffering and dying. They were just dying off in this village of Somalia. And I pretty much said all of the dream. I didn't get to ask the lady. I'm gonna say again, do you want me to pray with you? I didn't really get to see that far because I woke up, but I just wanted to share this dream because I woke up and immediately started writing, and my first thought when I woke up from this dream was, oh my goodness, that was crazy. It's like I was relieved. Like, it was really horrific seeing that dream. I was distressed. This was the first time that I had a dream that I could say it felt real. It seemed very real, and I was very much like on the forefront for this village of Somalia to have these people come to salvation. And the second thought that I had after I woke up from the dream was, did I just dream about wormwood? Like, did that just happen? Because that's really what this snake entity, poisonous river, toxic gas, poisonous drink, snake eating people, just crazy stuff, demon entity, poisoned these waters. That's the only thing I can think of. I've never had Revelation, the book of Revelation type dream. That's never happened to me. I've never been able to remember my dream this well. And I've certainly never dreamt about wormwood. So, but that's the one thing that came to mind. So I just wanted to share this dream. And I also want to say this. Okay, I looked up stuff about Somalia because I was like, I wonder if something's going to happen over there. Like, what's this about? And what I found, mind you, before I had this dream, I didn't know anything about Somalia except that it was in Africa and it was called Somalia, and that's about it. And maybe that there are, maybe people practice Islam there. Like, that was it that I knew about Somalia. I go on Google to find out about Somalia, and I see that Somalia is on the coastline. Like, it's right there with a whole bunch of water. I had no idea where in Africa Somalia was. So for me to be dreaming about there being like a massive body of water like in or around it is like, wow, it's like my dream showed me a little bit about like the geography or like, you know, the nature setting of Somalia. So that was very interesting. Yeah, it's at the Horn of Africa. So I just wanted to throw that out there. This is my dream, guys. Crazy dream, very distressing, and I just wanted to share it with you. God bless you guys. Bye bye.